What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I wasn't gonna make this video a while back, but I figured why not make it now, because I haven't gotten to it yet, because I wanted to make sure it was all cleaned up before it got to that point. So we picked up a new vehicle. You've seen it in the last couple videos in the background. And basically the quick backstory is that we went to LS Fest East last year. And while we were there, Morgan saw a lot of LS power cars that she might not have seen good examples of in the past. And one of them was a Trailblazer SS. Now, she has her Audi S3 that I'll show you here in a second, and she doesn't really like driving it. I mean, she loves driving it, but she doesn't trust the Florida drivers to like take it to the grocery store and stuff like that. Usually we'll take it out for like nicer things and whatnot. So she was saying about getting something that she can drive around town that's a little bigger than the Audi, but still just about as low as the Audi, not like a big SUV, because she won't drive the Escalade. So when we were at LS Fest, I pointed out Trailblazer SS's, and she said if a Trailblazer SS looks and sounds like the ones that we saw at LS Fest, she would be interested. So a few weeks later, I stumbled upon one that just got traded in at a dealership out in Orlando. The dealer, the salesman texted me pictures. I went and looked at it. Following weekend, came home with it. So let me show you guys what I picked up. But real quick, this is her Audi. It's a 2018 Audi S3. Ignore our Christmas garland that needs to get put away that's around it. It's Aura Blue with red interior, very rare color, very rare interior combo. It is lowered on H&R springs. It has new speed RSE 10 wheels with 10 mil wheel spacers. And other than that, it is pretty much stock. It has a pedal commander and a carbon rear trunk wing. But then that brings us to the new grocery getter right here. I ended up picking up this 2007 Chevy Trailblazer SS in white, and it was such a good deal what we got it for, and the thing is insanely clean for its age. Immediate thing to note is that it has a fiberglass cowl induction hood, which is a pretty rare piece, and it has blacked out headlight housings. It has bigger wheels. So the factory wheels are 20 by 8. These wheels are 20 by 10 with 295 Toyo tires on it that have good life. You know, it was all just too good. Windows are tinted, but I got to get those redone because they are not tinted the best. Like I said, it's lowered all around, and that was kind of all I knew before I started digging into it further. I noticed this thing was super low. So once I continued looking into it, I noticed that in the front, it had KW coilovers. In the rear, it had Beltec lowering springs and Beltec shocks. And then it was hard to miss the adjustable control arms, or in the rear, adjustable upper and lower control arms in the rear, adjustable panhard bar, and tubular upper control arms in the front. Then on top of that, I realized that it had a beefier Progress rear sway bar. I mean, I saw that it was lowered when the guy sent me pictures, but I was expecting maybe lowering springs. I was not expecting it to be lowered with like all the top dollar stuff that you can get for these things. It was really no expense spared by the previous owner, and it really showed once I got underneath of it and started messing with it a little bit. So let me show you the engine bay. Quick interior shot. It is pretty dang clean. Black seats, suede inserts, the SS seats, and a completely stock interior, other than my rags. Still has the factory radio. It has aftermarket door speakers, which sound great, but this thing is truly a gem. It is so clean and just so factory looking that, like, I don't know, it's almost too good to be true. So let me pop the hood, and we'll see what this thing has to offer. Now, with it being the fiberglass hood, they also, oh, my gimbal's getting lost here. They also put hood struts on it, which are pretty cool. But I was surprised to find when I got to the dealership and looked at this thing, under the hood is bone stock, 100% bone stock. Still has the SS engine cover, which is cool. I noticed that as far as maintenance items go, new battery, entire AC system was done last year. The starter's been done. The whole cooling system, except for the radiator, has been done. Yeah, I mean, I put a new air filter in it. I changed the oil. It does have your typical LS leaks. So I need to do a front cover gasket, oil pan gasket, but we do want to add oil pan baffling in it. So that'll all kind of come together. And then we would like to potentially get a cold case radiator to throw in here. And we have some Bono Specialties radiator hoses on the shelf that we got to throw in once we do all that. Shout out Bono Specialties. You've heard me mention them because we run their silicone hoses on the DriftV. So we got a set of blue ones for this. And yeah, so then the thing has 155,000 miles, 56,000 miles on it, and it is just a good running LS2. One thing worth noting that is a common Trailblazer thing. The whole headlight support that the headlights clip into and the grill clips into is plastic, and it's very common that they break. So ours was moving a little bit, so until I pick up a new one and rip the front end off this thing, which will probably come when we do the radiator and the gaskets on the engine, I just threw this metal bracket here that came with the trans cooler. I mounted a trans cooler down back there. You can kind of see it's a Derail trans cooler. It's nothing huge because we don't plan on towing with this thing, but it'll do the trick. I did a trans service on it. It has a 4L70 transmission, so you know, just basically 4L60 things. So I did a trans service on it and added the cooler and all that jazz. The cowl induction hood is real too, which I thought was pretty cool. It's just a really nice fiberglass piece here. Getting underneath it a little bit, the rear ends of these things are chunky. They have 14 bolt rear ends. And then we have the Spawn Performance adjustable panhard bar, and also the adjustable lower control arms and the Progress sway bar that you can kind of see there under the diff. Yeah, this thing is wildly clean, and it's impressive how spotless the thing is. The one thing I always joke about with GM vehicles is the hitch test. Look at the factory trailer hitch. If the sticker's still there, probably hasn't been painted. And if it's not rusty, it's a good indicator on the rest of the underside of the truck. Again, like I said, it is bone stock and it just runs good. It's gonna be a great grocery getter for us. But on top of that, Morgan said it needs to look like the ones at LS Fest and it needs to sound like the ones at LS Fest. So this one just doesn't quite sound like the ones at LS Fest, but it definitely looks the part. So thankfully we were able to purchase one that pretty much has the looks down. And however, we need some chop. We need some chop and we need a little more power out of this thing. So probably not this winter, but next winter, I think we're gonna dive into the LS2, put a cam in it, get the heads done, regasket the entire engine, similar to how we've done to the drift car and even the black car. We did the cam and heads in. But with this, it's kind of a new animal because I gotta mess with automatic transmission stuff, and I don't know enough about automatic transmission stuff. So we gotta go down the rabbit hole of higher stall torque converters based off your cam and things like that. And I got a lot of research to be done. And then we have the weak 4L70, but at the same time, we're not trying to make a ton of power, and it's still gonna be a street truck. So I think as long as we keep that 4L70 with good fluid and cool, I think we'll be in good shape. I put a pan on it that has a drain plug so that doing fluid exchanges will be easy, even if I'm not doing a filter exchange. We did new rear diff fluid. So like I did all the fluids on the truck, power steering fluid, all that jazz. Everything is good. But we just don't have the time or the budget right now to just jump into this project. And really we want to use it right now for what we bought it for, and that's to drive around with it. Couple things that I needed to address. I did front brake pads, but we might be doing a big brake kit on it. These have floating calipers, 2 piston floating calipers in the front. I did new pads and rotors because they were warped. But when I pulled them apart, I noticed that the calipers, the dust boots on the insides, were kind of torn. So we might be doing, let's go down to my Escalade here. The 2021 and up brakes that I upgraded on my Escalade to as well. They are a 4-piston, like Brembo style caliper. So that would be a pretty sizable improvement for the Trailblazer SS. And then I have a couple things I'll show you in there that I plan on doing as well. Down here we got our Bono Specialties hoses. So pretty stoked on putting these guys in and replacing the factory rubber hoses. And then one thing I noticed on the KW coilovers, I noticed that the bump stops were gone. Now I was reading that on KW coilovers, the bump stops getting old and basically disintegrating and breaking apart and disappearing is not super uncommon. So today these came in from Prothane. Now I saw some guys on the NSX forum using this, which is totally irrelevant, but I just was looking for KW information. Now these are red polyurethane bump stops. Now they have a smaller bore right here, but they got a bigger bore down here. He just had to drill this hole out bigger to fit the bore of his shock shaft. And I think that'll basically help with a lot because the shock is kind of bottoming out and I need to get a bump stop in there. So I'll have to take those apart, and then I would like to reset the damping and all that on the shocks because they're double adjustable. So that is going to be an upcoming video because I want to get that done sooner than later. Get these guys installed and we'll refresh those front coilovers. And then I want to set the ride height better because the front right sits a little lower than the front left, and then we'll take it and get it realigned. The other kind of goofy thing that I noticed was that the rear sway bar, the bolts in the end links were too long, and I guess whatever shop installed them just left them loose. So the rear sway bar, when we first purchased the truck, was not really hooked up. So I stacked washers to fill the voids on that, but on top of that, I need to pull one of those bolts out, figure out the size, the thickness and all that, and then I'll just order up the proper length bolts. And it was kind of funny. The truck felt real loose driving it home from Orlando, but after I, stacked washers and tightened up the end links, all of a sudden, feels great. Feels significantly better. So it just, the way that works makes no sense to me how somebody just left somebody's car like that. But either way, I'm super stoked that we were able to pick this thing up. It is a sweet car, and I'm excited to have the time and the budget down the line, probably next year, to dive into it some more. But in the meantime, you're just gonna keep seeing it in the background, and I'll make a video when I do the shock refresh, and then anything else we end up doing to it, I'll make videos as we go. But the big meaty stuff, like taking the engine apart and things like that, that'll come a little further down the line. You're gonna have to wait for that one. So I figure I just wanted to make a quick video to show you guys the new Trailblazer SS amidst all the other crazy stuff that we've been working on. And yeah, with that, thank you guys for watching. If you're a Trailblazer SS fan, welcome to the channel. Check out the content we got, cts-vs, 3000 GTs, and all that good stuff. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.